Welcome to Lauren's Crazy Pet Show. You've heard of the Miss America pageant, right? Well, we are in West Hampton, Long Island for the Barking Beauty 2020 pageant, which, let me tell you, is just as big.
With contestant number 1, this is Roxy.
Yes, we have a lot of fun, we do. It is, you know, I've been doing it since 2006, and it's grown every year. This year, it was a little bit smaller than I had hoped, but I'll tell you, it was bigger than I expected. With all this COVID stuff going on, I expected just to have the contestants here. But we actually sold tickets to people that were walking by and said, oh my gosh, look what's going on, let's do this.
Number 5 is Hollywood. Hollywood is a Leonberger.
And the field of Barking Beauties was large. You had contestants all different types, shapes, and sizes.
All different types and sizes, yes. I was so happy.
And they competed in several categories, so explain exactly what we were seeing.
Okay, so just like Miss America, our pups compete in activewear, glamour wear, and talent.
And we want people to know that a portion of the money that you raise here does go back to help animals in need. That's an important part of the pageant.
Every single penny that we earned on the day of the pageant goes to our charities.
And I know we had a special contestant here from one of those charities.
Yes, we did. Little Madison was here from RSVP Animal Welfare and Rescue Group. And Madison has been with Kelly Keenan, her foster mom, for a couple of months now. They go through a rigorous evaluation and training session before they put the pup up for adoption. Well, she has 2 mommies interested in her after seeing her today because she is so cute and so sweet.
Well, I love that you have her as a contestant. And you had, again, a wide variety. We even saw last year's winner, Bun Bun.
Yes, Bun Bun was back to give up her crown and to entertain for us, to do a little bit of her talent. Yes.
This is so cute. And we saw Puccini.
Puccini.
Who won the year before.
Right, 2018.
And of course, we are following up, actually, because we went to a wonderful workshop that you gave at Cafe Bark, New York.
Right.
On how to have a pageant-ready pup.
And you know what? I think people watched what was featured in your show. Did you notice how they got out of the way and really presented their dogs to the judges? Every single one of them must have studied your show and what we were talking about, because they all did it right, every single one of them.
Well, we sure hope so. And it's fun. And you yourself was once a Miss America contestant.
I was. Actually, I've entered several different systems. I've held 13 different pageant titles, and I emceed the National American Miss program for kids ages 4 through college age for 20 years, all over the United States at different state pageants, and did the nationals twice.
Wow. But everybody was fabulous. There can only be one winner, and today...
Ladies and gentlemen, your new 2020 Hamptons Barking Beauty is... number 6, Zizi.
It was Zizi.
Zizi, it was her second time to compete with us. And now here at the Hamptons, she's knocked it out of the park.
You must be so excited. Congratulations.
I am beyond thrilled today. I really wasn't sure what the judges were looking for. So I tried to mix a little, like really fancy with a little laid back, with a little creativity, and my girl did it. She aced it. As Leslie said, personality is very important. And I think just the fact that she didn't want to get off the stage when we did formal wear and she just sat there, which is a typical Zizi stunt. So she engaged with everybody, and now she's a winner. She's the new Barking Beauty. I'm very excited.
In the preparation for the pageant, the bond between the mom and the pet just becomes that much stronger. And that's really what it's all about. That's all we want to do with the Barking Beauty pageant. Besides raising money for these charities, we want to strengthen the bond between our contestant pups and their mommies, their daddies. Our pets teach us about unconditional love. They teach us about living in the moment, and they teach us about forgiveness. As you're training your dog, you just learn that much more, and dogs are just wonderful. I call them angels in fur coats.
Welcome back to Lauren's Crazy Pet Show. You know, they're the biggest rodent in North America, and we actually have a pretty healthy population right here in Connecticut. In fact, there might be a bunch of them back there in that lodge. You know what I'm talking about? Beavers!
Yes, hi. We brought you to a beaver marsh today in American Legion State Forest in Barkhamsted, Connecticut. It is a prime habitat for a family of beavers. They live there with their young in the beaver lodge, which you can see off in the distance. And they have built a dam here and covered up a woods road. There is a stream here, likely where these beavers came from, and they'll keep going till they find an area that they feel they can just dam up and create this kind of habitat. They're what we call a keystone species, which means other species are reliant on them for food and habitat. So by them building this dam, they created a lot of water for fish and frogs, salamanders, herons that hunt the fish. We have bald eagles here. In one day here, you could probably count, 15 species of animals coming by.
So that's a good thing. I think I see one back there too. Now, I know this used to be a road that they built their dam on. How did they know to come here?
Well, the beavers can come up streams. The beavers usually have their babies like in the late winter, and they usually have 2 or 3. They'll keep those in their beaver lodge for 2 years, and then they send them packing. So those little beavers have to go find their way. So they'll go down some stream, and there may not be a marsh there, but they'll go further downstream and they'll make a marsh. They can cut down a 20-inch round tree in less than an hour.
Wow.
With these really sharp teeth. The sharp teeth have iron in the front of them because that's mostly from what they eat.
Is that the real color of their teeth?
Yes, they're very strong in iron because their environment has a lot of iron, the water, and a lot of the things they gnaw on. So that keeps the front of the teeth, the back of the teeth are kind of white like ours. But the teeth keep growing and they keep filed down because they are gnawing away so much.
So they grow their whole life?
They grow their whole life, and you can see they're very, very sharp. As I said, they're our largest rodent. They can be from 30 to 60 pounds, so that's pretty darn big. They can be up to 52 inches long with their tails. As you can see, here's a beaver pelt, and it's pretty large.
Wow. Now, they live under the water in their lodge?
Yes, now their lodge, they're actually not in the water when they're in their lodge. The lodge, as you can see, is built above the water, but it also goes down below. So they can swim into their lodge and escape predators like bobcat. Even though bobcat can swim, but they're not going underneath. A beaver can hold its breath for 15 minutes.
And you mean, Ginny, they actually eat the wood?
Yes, as I said, they're vegetarians, but they really like aspen, cottonwood, and willow trees. So they will eat the bark of those trees, and you'll see where they gnaw sometimes, you can see that they haven't gone all the way through the wood, and that's when they're just eating those things. So bark and twigs, they like that stuff, and with these kind of teeth, who wouldn't?
That's right. And even during the winter time, they'll bring sticks into their home?
Yes, in the fall, they're very busy. As I said, beavers are busy. And they'll take sticks and leave them right around their lodge, right near the entrances. And the lodge has many underwater entrances that they can get to. And then they'll just come and pull in some of those sticks, and they'll all sit in there gnawing on them like we'd be gnawing on chicken wings, I guess.
It sounds like a cartoon, right?
And they can live on their fat reserves, so they do bulk up a lot in the fall with all kinds of plants and wood.
Now, how long would it take them to build their dam?
They'll be building all night long, and they'll build and build and build, and they'll start with a little section, and they just keep building and building. And as you can see, this isn't, it's not a giant dam, but they did dam up this woods road, and at one point, the biologists kept putting up, there are things called beaver deceivers. There are wires that'll kind of keep the beavers out, but didn't work. So they finally decided there's not that much road left. Let's just let the beavers have it. So, and besides, we have bald eagles in the area. They'll oftentimes come here. We have a lot of heron here. So it is a very vibrant marsh for all kinds of wildlife. Now, beavers generally are out at dawn and dusk and night. We were very lucky today to see this beaver at about 4 o'clock. So that was great. But one of the animals that's mistaken for a beaver is the river otter, and you can see it's very thin, and when it swims you really only see its head until it starts swimming fast, then it porpoises, so it goes like a dolphin. When you see the beaver, you generally will see its head and you'll see its tail, and then we have one other little critter that I don't even know how, but some people mistake for a beaver, but it's nowhere near it, and that's a muskrat. The river otter are a very fun animal to see. They slide down the banks and in the water, and they're very playful. So we're lucky to have all 3 of these species in Connecticut. We're lucky to have bears and moose. Connecticut, my friends in Texas where I grew up can't believe we have such a wild kingdom here. And I encourage you all to do all you can to protect our ecosystems and our animal species, because once they're gone, they won't come back.
Oh, this was so cool. Not only did we get to see beavers, we actually got to hear owls right out here in the wild and bullfrogs. And actually, when we come back, we're going to see a bulldog doing agility and listen to some really cool music. Stay tuned. Lauren's Crazy Pet Show's coming right back.
I like stepping with you. Wow.
Jump! Jump!
Welcome back to Lauren's Crazy Pet Show. You've probably heard of agility, right? But have you ever heard of a bulldog doing agility and having so much fun? We're in Clinton, Connecticut, and not only do we have agility for you, we also have tortoises and goats and some awesome original music.
And it's another great day, it's another great day in London. London needs the sunshine, not the rain.
So Trudy, what came first, your music with Al or your love of agility?
I've always done dogs and music. That's like since I was a teeny weeny kid. When we met, it's just what we did. You know, he played, I played, so we kind of created this thing and brought the animals along with us.
If I do a slow step, would you step out fast? A smooth to and fro step, I'll watch you go past. A new way down low step, I'll come around last. 'Cause I like stepping with you.
And I love it. It's really magical. You have some songs that are about things that dogs do, and also a very special song that you're going to be premiering on our show about the Dog Scouts.
Yes.
Because of course you are Dog Scouts.
Yes.
Because we just saw you at that wonderful birthday party. And that's where we first saw you singing together.
Oh, that's right,
And it was
yes.
really magical. I didn't realize that really you have CDs. And again, you say you go way back. Talk about some of the music that you've created.
There's the folk phase. There's the blues phase. We've written some Cajun music. I like to get immersed in a genre and then try it because it's supposed to be fun. It doesn't have to be perfect.
How many dogs do you have? And are some of your songs inspired by all of your dogs?
I have 7 dogs. Different songs have been for different dog events. We do confirmation, agility, flyball, dock diving as well.
Now, we got to see your bulldogs do agility, and people are probably thinking, I never heard of a bulldog doing agility, but you have actually done it for a long time.
Well, yes, I had the first agility bulldog. She was just a dog that wanted to do this sport, and that was the dog that went on to be the first bulldog ever to go to the Eukanuba Invitational. But this puppy wanted to do that. Years later, I have Mojo, the bulldog that I have now, who is a relative of that original bulldog, who just really does not have a lot of drive for agility. But then my newest bulldog has a very, very strong agility drive. She comes in here wanting to do things. When I train her, what I'll be doing is slowing her down and making her more careful.
And that's really one of the guiding principles of Dog Scouts.
Right, it is. And we use positive reinforcement. Dog Scouts don't use the choke collars and the prong collars. We don't force dogs to do anything, but we motivate them.
And then we saw your beautiful little retriever.
Oh, Zumba. Zumba's an American Water Spaniel. It's a hardcore hunter's dog. It's a dog that has to have a job. But she's always had a job. She's always been my agility dog. She loves agility. I think it's good to go with what you're kind of here for. And Zumba's here for agility. I mean, you got to see her.
It's so cute. And also, not only do you have all those 7 beautiful dogs, you also have tortoises and even baby tortoises.
Yes, the baby tortoises.
Oh, they're so cute.
Yes, I have 3 baby sulcatas. I have a big sulcata, not a big, for a sulcata, he's not big, but I have a moderate-sized sulcata that I got as a teeny weeny. And then I have 2 leopard tortoises.
And you have goats?
I do. I have 2 goats right now. We just had the tornado come through, so they're not very organized. They normally live in a run that is 30 by 50, and right now they're just in a little catch pen the size of a dog's pen, so they're not really pleased with me.
They still look happy. And you have a bird that sings with you.
Yes, actually I have a bird that sings over me, tries to be dominant about singing, Pete Macaw.
Talking Pete Macaw, raw, raw, raw. Everybody's talking about Pete Macaw.
I love it. Now specifically, we're going to be premiering the Dog Scout song.
song.
Hot off the presses.
Yay.
On the 188th day of the year, the sun starts to linger, the cold starts to clear. We gather with friends and we gather our gear, making plans for another new year. Big dogs, little dogs, old friends and new. You can meet my fellow scout as we meet your scout too. Always a good time, so much to do when we're out and about as a dog scout. We go swimming in summer, hiking year round, learning skills and teaching skills and helping out in a town. Always a good time, there's much to be found when you're out and about as a dog scout. Big dogs, little dogs, old friends and new. You can meet my dog scout as we greet your scout too. Always a good time, so much to do when we're out and about in a dog scout. When we're out and about as a dog scout. Out and about as a dog scout.
Welcome back to Lauren's Crazy Pet Show. We finished the show off today at a very special ceremony here in Fairfield, Connecticut. It's being sponsored by a wonderful group called Desmonds Army to honor 5 precious souls. So Robin, this is a really special ceremony. Explain what's going on today.
Well, we're here to commemorate the lives of the Fairfield 5, who were brutally murdered by the president of the rescue that they were under. These dogs were found starved to death, actually. Heidi Luders was well known, renowned in the bully breed community and had the respect and trust of a lot of people. And it was an unfathomable betrayal of trust of these dogs. These 5 dogs were left in crates to starve to death amidst their feces and urine and just utter chaos of the house.
These dogs were in her trust and they were supposedly being adopted out.
Not only were they supposedly being adopted out, I was able to obtain an email from someone who wanted Buddha. And there he sat in that crate. He could have had a home. He could have had a home. I don't understand why.
And she's walking free today.
She's walking free today. She's probably driven by.
And she, though, is due in court for people who want to follow up on this?
She's due in court on September 23rd.
Let's explain what you do, Desmonds Army.
We go to court to hold the courts accountable to use Desmonds Law. And what Desmonds Law does is put a pro bono attorney or a law student under the supervision of their professor in court to advocate for justice.
For animals.
For animals.
And this is very important because explain the chain.
Animal abuse is directly linked to social violence and domestic violence. School shooters, mass shooters, serial killers. Statistics are
They start as abusers,
They
right?
start with animals. They always start with animals, and then they graduate.
And how did you guys form? Obviously, you're a huge animal lover, but it's really grown.
We go to court. We hold the courts accountable to use Desmonds Law. We look to see that the courts are giving out harsher sentences.
Well, bravo for everything you do. Now, getting back to today's ceremony, this is really beautiful because you're dedicating a bench to the Fairfield 5.
Yes, so that they will never be forgotten.
And you had a beautiful little ceremony with the Buddhist monks, and you also had a very special guest here today.
Noah. Noah is a survivor of that household.
So he was part of bully breed, but he survived?
He was one of her personal dogs.
And finally, Robin, let us know how we can get involved in your group. You don't have to be an attorney.
No. However, if you are an attorney and you're watching this, we can always use advocates. We need them. We need them in Bridgeport Court. We need them in Stamford. All you have to do is email the Department of Agriculture with your information and they will put you on the list.
And how can people join up with you and support your wonderful work?
We're online at desmondsarmy.org. We're also on Facebook, Desmonds Army, Animal Law Advocates, and we also have a national animal abuse awareness page.
What would be your final thoughts today on people remembering, not forgetting, and becoming involved so it doesn't happen again?
Just speak up. Speak up. If you see a wrong, if you see, you know, a dog in a hot car, or if you see somebody that's dragging their dog behind them, you know, say something. If you see something that in your gut you feel is wrong, call the police.
Thank you for joining us today. And please remember, if you see something that you think is animal abuse, please stand up and say something. Thank you, everybody. This has been Lauren's Crazy Pet Show.